What is going on, lunatic friends? Yesterday I told you that there's going to be a moonshot with Terra Luna Classic, and today I'm going to explain to you exactly why it's going to happen. There's a lot to unpack here, but we're going to do it as quickly as possible. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, and let's get after it. All right, guys, before we get started, Trobits, 163,000 is what they burned yesterday, and all you have to do is come over here, engage with this platform. This is where you're getting the biggest bang for your burn buck. And by the way, it's not your bucks anyway. It's from ad revenue, like this little ad down here. So all you have to do is come over here. You don't even have to log in. All you have to do is engage with this content. Down here, you've got your daily briefing, your daily updates, and information that you need to know relative to Terra Luna Classic. All major articles are being printed, put up here, so anything you want to know is ready for you at trobits.com. Make sure you sign up today. Also, if you are looking for meme coins, check out terrapump.fun. A lot of fun being had over here. Blame already graduated. Rakeoff graduated. JMC looks like it's going to be the next one. Maybe LLO right after that. Coming down here, believes crypto sitting at 2.8 cents. Now, we did have a run up to about 4 cents. Again, there's not going to be a huge level of support. Maybe at some point in the future we'll do something with it, but for right now, purely speculative asset. We want to unbond as many of these as possible. The market, however, been a little bit difficult, and let's check that out right now. So, generally speaking, we've had a little bit of downward momentum. We had a little bit of retracement off of what I said. Ultimately, this is going to be a move all the way up here to the top. Now, we're not there yet, and, it's going to take a little bit of time. Why will it take a little bit of time? Well, we need QE, quantitative easing. What we don't have right now is quantitative easing. Now, what we do have is a reduction in the quantitative tightening that the U.S. market has been engaged in for a while. Now, we haven't seen rate cuts. We haven't seen something crazy start to really happen. And I should say, we saw a 25 basis point cut, but it really hasn't resonated, if you will, with the entire markets. We're still in a broad sell-off and maintain ourselves in a broad sell-off stance. So I do suspect that this is just a, again, if you look at the last time we got this sort of move from down here, we had a pump up, we came back down a little bit, had a pump up, came back down a little bit, had another pump up, came back down a little bit, went sideways, and then boom, that's when we eventually broke out. So the same thing probably going to happen. Like, we really don't know exactly when this market is going to take off. Now, I will show you a little piece here that will tell you what you need to know and why you should be concerned. Now, what I'm putting up on the screen right now is a 55-day MA, which is the yellow one, and you'll see that we've moved above that just slightly over the last couple of days. But the one to concern yourself with is the 200 MA. That 200 MA is this purple line going right there, okay? That purple line generally represents, in trend version, it represents positivity in the market, if you will, and it's the average of the price over the last 200 days. So the average of the price over the last 200 days is 4088.19. We're currently sitting at 4060.30. So we've got a ways to go before we get bullish again. But when this breaks above, let me show you what happens when it breaks above. So we broke above right here, and look what immediately happened. We had a gigantic run. That's what you're looking for. Those are the things that are going to happen when you have this sort of setup. Now, let's look at the next time. When did we cross over? Again, we crossed over again right here, and what happened? Boom, with another big move. So it's really kind of, and by the way, this does not mean the market doesn't react to just passing it, okay? It's a trend indicator. So it doesn't mean that we're going to go absolutely parabolic, doesn't mean that we're going to go crazy. It just means that we're bullish. And when we're bullish, good things happen. By the way, this right here, same thing happened over here, and then boom, we had an enormous explosive move right there. So this is the goal right now, is to get above that 200 MA, because it really creates a springboard and an impetus for people to recognize bullish sentiment. And by the way, there are AI agents, there are a lot of different things out here, tools that you have for investment that will tell you the same thing. And when you get that call at the 200 MA, that's when you invest. So that's when you will see a really big and strong move. So, again, if we just look at it from this context, then I would predict by the middle of May, within a month or so, if we continue to have an uptrend, then you could say the middle of May is about when we see that breakout period. No guarantees to that, by the way. May 7 is the next time we get an opportunity for a rate cut, and we'll see whether or not we get a rate cut with the Trump administration. The Fed, Jerome Powell, seems to be walking it very, very slow and conservative, and that's been a problem. And he's been behind the market, and we'd like to see him get in front of the market and take some risk with our economy to maybe try to stop some of the bleeding that they have considered to be necessary for the markets. So hopefully we'll see that. And by the way, one of the most important things that you can consider is in this market, there's only been one reliable asset. That reliable asset is right there. It's Bitcoin. That's been the only real reliable asset. So when you look at Luna Classic and you feel down because of it, look around. You will feel down because of all of it. And when you say to me, yeah, but what about Solana? Because Solana had a really big run and he's doing this growing really, 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 really high. I like John Cena and also like boobs. That's the way you sound in my brain when you say dumb shit like that. Well, let's look at Solana, right? Solana, nowhere near its all-time high. All-time high is 300, nowhere near it right now. It's down 50%, over 50%. And then you might say to yourself, yeah, but what about in the last run? When there's a big long move? Or whatever stupid shit you say, right? Well, it was 260 back then. It's 145 right now. We're not up. We're not up anywhere. So, when you tell me this and when you say this kind of stuff, I hear what you're saying, but you don't make any sense. Now, if you're looking at it and saying, yeah, but, this was 260, this was 300, we had the blow off top. Yeah, you're right about that, right? Now, show me 100 others in which that has happened. And you won't be able to do that because there's basically been about 3 different projects that have broke out in any appreciable way. And you might say to yourself, yeah, but what about Cardano? Because Cardano was doing a lot of it, and Charles Hoskinson was doing the muscles and everything. I like John Cena. Or whatever you can say in your brain. Well, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. Let's go look at it. Oh, look, son of a bitch, not even close to an all-time high. Like, this market is a Bitcoin market. Here's the dominance right here, 64.7%. Like, at this point, if you're playing the market and you're playing it the right way, most of your assets are going to be in Bitcoin because we haven't had that blow-off moment in altcoins. Now, if you're stretched thin and you don't have the ability to get into Bitcoin, first of all, that was a mistake. But secondly, if that is the case, then you just have to be patient with your altcoins. They will run. It's just a matter of time. Now, for that purpose, let me go back to the chart and let me tell you what I saw. What I did is I took and I changed. Remember, most of my Fibonacci was based on this big move right here. Well, I wanted to go with a smaller move and say, where's the trend? Well, this is the last real big impulse. That was the last gigantic impulse, or the second wave, whatever you call it. So I wanted to look at that and see, like, where is the number? And guess what? That number, the 618, which is where I tell you, like a magnet, that's where we're probably going to end up, right? It's sitting at 3 zeros, 1409. Oh, yeah, by the way, what did I say was going to play out? Well, there's no irony in the fact that what I gave you as the next big impulse move or the next big play is actually lining up with a Fibonacci. Now, is this the main Fibonacci? It's not. That's not. It would be the original, but this one gives you an idea that, yeah, that's exactly where we should go. In fact, what do I always tell you? The impulse moves right here, from here up to the top. Then you break down, and now normally you'd like to see it come into this range, but if it comes back into this range, that's fine, 786. But what comes next? 236. Boom, 236 right there. Then what happened? It broke down, and then it came back for another test, and that next test should have gone to the 382, but the market just absolutely bottomed out at that point. That's where we had Donald Trump come into office. That's when we saw tariffs. That's when we had a black swan event, basically. So we went to the 0.5 and then rejected off that, came all the way down to the bottom of this range. Now, what happens next? Well, there's going to be a move back here to the top of this range. It's already, guys, I think it's just basically written in stone at this point. That will happen. But first things first, we have that move right there to the 618, which is going to be 3 zeros, 14,029. Now, when that happens, you're going to have a bunch of people come in here saying, it's all a scam because I like John Cena. It's a scam. That's what they're going to say because that's, and look, I mean, it's my brain. They can talk however they want in my brain. I support them, okay? And I watch them when they're trying to find love on the spectrum on Netflix. So, you know, if you sound silly, you're fucking silly. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're going to have that move. Just have to have a little patience. If you don't have the patience and you're not going to make it, you're not going to make it anyway. So it doesn't matter. Sell your lunk. Who cares? Like if you're just not going to be one of those people who makes it, you're just not going to be one of those people who makes it. So anyway, volume way down. Volume slightly up, but still way down. Remember, we were talking not that long ago. We wanted 10 million off of USTC. We wanted 100 million with Luna Classic. We're at 8.9 million. And by the way, when we look at the overall market here, 73 billion. What I tell you, 73 billion is a bad weekend. And right now, that's our Tuesday leading into Wednesday. So yeah, we're not crushing it right now. But Alpaca, by the way, Alpaca been traded for days over here. I've been talking about it on weeks, and look at that, up 400%. What a crazy, crazy day Alpaca had. What a nice little breakout. But generally speaking, that's where we are. Now, I'm encouraged because we have 341 million burns. I told you that's not enough. However, there's 80 million that's been burned so far today. Nothing big over here on USTC. It's 26,000 for the day. Again, that's not very big, but you know, this big number right here about to fall off. 162 million. That's the last big burn. We're looking for something, you know, along the lines of 500 million, something like that. Tomorrow, we're going to get a big burn from Binance, so we'll see what it is right there. I'm going to suspect about 400,000 because of the low amount that we have right here, and I didn't see an uptick in volume. As a matter of fact, it looked like it was down a little bit, so I would suspect somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 million. So we're going to have an okay series of burns, but it's just not, it's not optimal. So, as far as all of the rest of this goes, there's just not a lot of movement in the market. So we're going to just save the rest of it, and we'll talk to you about it at a later time. The most important thing is to recognize what is going on in the market, and then how can you best navigate it. You know, really, it's a Bitcoin market until it's not a Bitcoin market, and then it becomes altcoin season. So if you have the patience to make it to altcoin season, you're going to be just fine. If you don't, you're going to get wrecked and you're going to miss out. Now, if you've allocated properly, then you're enjoying your Bitcoin gains, and you know you're happy with your position because it's been a hedge against what's been happening in the altcoin market. And every time somebody's called for the top on the Bitcoin dominance, they've been wrong and Bitcoin's gone higher. Remember, the narrative fundamentally is gigantic at this point, and it is all about mass adoption of Bitcoin. Beyond that, we don't have a thriving narrative that in some way fundamentally changes the game, if you will. So, you know, I would be looking at, again, if you're a Bitcoin maxi, this has been perfect for you. If you're not a Bitcoin maxi, then this kind of sucked. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, a little patience is going to go a long way to try to help you to establish whatever it is your goal is. It should be financial, and if it is, a little bit of patience is going to go a long way. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.